Hello, this is Michelle with Paper Stamp Ink. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to do a fun fold Christmas card. Yes, it's only July, but it's time to get started on those cards, especially if you're going to do quite a few of them this year. We're going to start with let's go ahead and jump in. Let's start with our paper and stamps and ink. So paper, I have some Whisper White, some Real Red, and some Old Olive scraps. And then we're going to use the Under the Mistletoe Designer Series paper. So this stuff is gorgeous, and don't forget that your Designer Series paper is on sale this month. You buy 3 and you get 1 free. Now you can mix and match the paper pads. You don't have to buy all 3 of the same design and get 1 free. So it's a great way to stock up on all those beautiful patterns, or if you're making a bunch of Christmas cards, stock up in a bunch of the Designer Series paper right now. Don't forget, we get 2 sides with the Designer Series paper. So we've got these gorgeous patterns, and then we've got these more graphic ones on this side. So we're going to start with using this one of the Designer Series paper today. And then for our stamps, we're going to use the Stylish Christmas stamp set, and from that I am going to use let's go ahead, and it's easier to see here, May the beauty and joy of the season fill your heart. And then I've gone ahead and pulled out, I'm not really 100% sure which ones of these we're going to use, but I do have the poinsettia, the leaves, and this swirly pattern design we'll create as we go. For the inks, I have Old Olive and Real Red. Now, let's go ahead and get started cutting our paper. If you are going to do several cards, here's a great tip. If you've got to score your paper, go ahead and do your scoring before you do your cutting. So in this case, we are going to cut this paper at the 4 1/4 inch mark to make 2 separate cards, but the scoring is going to be done at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and score both of my cards at the same time. That's going to save us a little bit of step, especially if you're one of those people who has 100 or more cards that you're making every year and sending out. And then we're going to come in with the trimming blade, move that scoring blade out of the way. Going to come in with the trimming blade at 4 1/4, and now we have our 2 card bases. If you're going to make 1 card, you might as well make 2. Let's bring in the bone folder, get that a nice crease, and here's where our fun fold part comes in. We're going to crease this one back the opposite direction. There we go. Now we're going to need something on the inside of this card so that we can actually write and stamp on that. That's where our Whisper White is going to come in. Now let's go ahead and cut those panels down. This portion is your standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so I'm going to trim that down by 1/4 inch on both sides to get us 2 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch panels. And that is what we're going to layer on the inside of the cards. And our Designer Series paper is going to come in on the front panel. Now I think that red's going to bleed into there, so that's where I grabbed this Old Olive. We're going to give that a little bit of a matting on the Old Olive. Now this panel is 2 3/4 this direction by 4 1/4. So I'm going to trim that down for our Old Olive panel by, again, 1/4 inch on both sides. So I'm going to trim this piece down to 4, well, that scrap piece is already at 4 inches. There we go. And then 2 3/4. And I'm going to take my other one here, and 2 3/4. Now I'm waiting for an order to come in for some of my more of my Old Olive, so I'm going to be a little bit stingy on this paper here today and get some additional use out of it. So I'm going to actually go ahead and cut my panel for my sentiment, or my circle for my sentiment, out of this before we adhere it down, because once we put that designer series paper on top, nobody's going to see that hole in the middle there. So let's see, for this sentiment, I'm just going to line up. I love using these circle dies. They are just so versatile. If you don't have a set of circle dies, I definitely recommend them. So let's see, that one is going to fit on there, and then if I do just one size larger on the scallops, because this is going to be my white piece, I need one size larger on the scallops. I believe this is the right one. There we go. And yes, that's still going to leave me enough room. So let's go ahead and bring the big shot over, and we are going to cut out these circles. I'm going to just lay my paper down here. We're going to do a quick run through. We've got one piece, and coming right back through the other direction. I apologize for that being off camera, but I don't have enough space right now to get that up high enough and get a broad enough view for you. I'll be working on that on future videos. And there we go. We've got our second panel, so our second scallop circle. So now we have our two scallop circles. Let's work on the white. Whoops, I'm going to need not my scallop circle, I need my regular circle. That won't work too well if we have both the same size, will it? Alright, run this through. And one more piece there. Alright, we're done with the big shot. I'm going to set that over to the side now that we have our panels. And let's get started on getting this card put together. Alright, so these are going to be, again, my border pieces that I'm going to put on here. And I do need to trim those down. I actually was meaning to do those at 2.5, not 2 3/4. So it's a good thing we've got a little bit of extra on there. So I'm going to trim that down, and let's trim this other one down to 2.5. And I'm just going to do a very small border because, as you see, I don't have a whole lot to work with there. So instead of trimming my designer series paper down by 1/4 inch on each side, I am going to do 1/8 of an inch, and that's just going to give me a very slim border, which I actually like. So I'm going to start my 2.5, and if I want 1/8 inch less, I'm just going to move that over 2 tick marks. If you don't want to have to do the math, that's an easy, quick way to do it. Do make sure if you've got directional designer series paper that you're lining it up the right way. And then from my 4 inch, I'm going to move over 1/8 of an inch on that. And let's do this again with a second strip so we can get the second card completed. And now we're just down to stamping and assembly. How quick is this going together? We're going to have 2 cards ready to go. Go ahead and adhere these 2 down. Oops. I love this poinsettia paper, and Old Olive is one of my favorite colors. I can't believe I let my supply run so low that I had to wait for my next order to come in. definitely stocking up on that again, as along with my designer series paper. All right, and then we just got this nice little border. And let's go ahead and put that to our card front. There we go. As I've said before, I like to use that Tombow Mono Multi because it gives me a little bit of time to just shift my paper around. I don't have to worry so much about getting it in exactly the right spot when I first adhere it down. And I'm going to come in and just give this another nice crease because I want to get that to lay as flat as I can. And once we get that circle with the sentiment on there, it will lay a little bit flatter for us. So let's come in with our circles and grab the sentiment. And I'm going to bring in, I think I'm going to go with the real red on this because we've got the Oud Olive here, the white and the real red. I think that'll be nice. And quick stamp there. I got a little blur, but you know what? Easy to fix. There is a reason for bling, right? I'll be a little more careful this time. Make sure I don't squish too hard and get that edge. And there we go. Move that off to the side. I'm going to put these two together. All right, one of the trickiest parts when we're going to adhere this to our front panel, and when I say tricky, because I've done this, don't glue the whole piece. All right, we're just going to glue this side. Otherwise, your fun fold is not going to unfold the way you want it to, which doesn't make it as much fun anymore, does it? So I'm going to stick that one down and stick this one down. And I have got ink on my fingers. All right. Take a tip from me. Don't get ink on your fingers. Keep them cleaned off. Or you're going to start smushing colors where you don't want them. We'll see what we can do to fix those up. You know what? And if we can't, I'm going to just cut another circle out, stamp that, and stick it right on top of there. Pretty much everything is fixable. And remember, it's only paper if you mess up. So this white panel is going to go in here, and we're just going to want to decorate up. I don't like so much white space. Now you could put another strip of designer series paper here if you wanted, and just have this piece left to write on. That would be totally fine as well. I'm going to do a little stamping, and let's see, do we have enough room? I think we've got, let's do one of them with the poinsettia stamps. Now this is one of the new distinctive style stamps, and the great thing with these is it's got some portions that are more raised than others. I don't know if you guys can see that well on camera, but what that's going to do is give us some different color on our stamped image. So it's going to give us some lighter and darker spots, so a little bit more dimension. So hopefully you guys can see that better. We've got these dark and light spots. I just did that with the stamp. I didn't have to worry about doing second generation or third generation stamping or masking, any of that stuff. So, and I like to stamp that off in the corner so that it's not quite as staged, I guess is a good word. So let's go ahead and put our leaves. I'm going to do the same way. I'm going to put those off a little bit, some of them to the side, and I think I want to come on in here and do another set right there. So we can adhere this panel down. And then other than fixing my little smudgies, this card is going to be done. And we've got our fun fold card ready to go. And let's see, so we've got one more, and let's do something a little different on here. I really like this swirl pattern. I think it's going to be useful not just for Christmas, obviously, but you're going to be able to get a lot of use out of this for other events as well. And so I just want to come in to the corner here and do that swirl. Just gives a little bit of a fancy look to it. Let's slide some Tombow Monomote in there. Get this one put down. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that swirl pattern. I don't know if it has a formal name. I'm just going to call it the swirl pattern. If anybody knows what else it's called, let me know. So if you have not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and check out the link below. You can subscribe now. That's going to make sure you get notified as I have additional videos come up. And let's see what I've got for some bling to cover those up. And you know what? I think this one, I'll be able to put a little bling right up here. Should have used my paper piercer, but that's put away right now, and mix it up and do a couple of other bling pieces. So there we go. That one is fixed. You know, this one I've smudged it a couple places. I think I'm going to go and cut another piece after we get done here and just cover that one up. So there we have our two fun fold cards, two of them ready to go and ready to get addressed and sent your note written in there and sent out. So I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to subscribe and tune in if you are interested in the products that I am selling here or showcasing here. I do sell them as a Stampin' Up! Representative. You can shop at my page 24/7. I'll have a link below. And don't forget about that Designer Series paper sale. Have a great day and keep creating.